Tom Ellett, the man, the myth, the legend. It's time that us RAs get under his desk and find out what really makes the man tick.
Thank you, Judy. I am actually very thrilled to be here with you, parents who have, as Judy said, entrusted us with your most prized gift in possession, your children.
And live from the WQAQ studio at Quinnipiac University, you're listening to Infinite Sports Radio on this Wednesday evening. I thank you for joining us. I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder, along with the great Ben Upson. Ben, how are you tonight?
I'm great, Kenny. It is the first day of fall. I guess it's fair to say that we're falling into autumn.
All right, that was terrible.
Sorry.
So, I thank you for joining us. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Talk about week 2, recap that, get into a bunch of games with that. We'll talk about our football team, actually, to start that, because there's a lot to talk about with that game, and we'll get into that. And then we will get into, later on in the show, we'll talk about the baseball teams, or the Yankees, the Mets, all that stuff, as the playoff picture heats up, as we get closer to the postseason, because next week is the final week of the regular season in baseball. And that's it. That's it. And then the playoffs start. And we'll see where our teams are and where our teams aren't. But before we get into that, we just played a clip from some employees here at the university, because today there was an article that was released on one of these people. And, here at this university, first of all, I love this school. I really do.
I echo that.
I love the school a lot. Love the people that I have become friends with. Have a lot of great friends here. Love the radio station here. Love a lot of my professors that I've had over the course of the last, 3.5 years now. But that's kind of been ruined in a sense because of some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes and some of the decision-making in the higher-ups. And some of the things are wrong. One of the biggest problems that this university has failed to address is the parking situation here. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. And failing to recognize that is a problem. And as students here, we're providing you, the leafy greens, okay, to put it like that. And we're supposed to get something in return, which is, respect, honor, integrity, consistency, transparency, all that good stuff. And unfortunately, in some cases, we don't get that. So with the parking situation, you have many people, many students, not including me, though, because I use the shuttle service here. There are many people that struggle to find spots on campus, okay? There are people that don't even park in spots in the main parking lot. They're parking in aisles where, cars are going to and from, whether they're coming in the parking lot or they're coming out of the parking lot, whether or not. They're parking over those, yellow lines, all that stuff. That's really bad. That's really bad. And in an article talking about one of the people here, there's a quote by someone else that works at the university, and they said, well, students can walk or ride their bike here instead of taking their cars. Huh?
How pathetic is that?
Okay. So, well, first of all, since the university is now creating this wellness center now, this new building with a rock wall, a smoothie station, all that stuff, you're taking spots out of the parking lot. I'm kind of all mixed up with some things, but you're doing that. You're taking up some parking spots. You got like those like storage units, those crates that are taking up like 5 or 6 spots. So those are less spots for people to, park in. And now you're saying the students should be part of the solution to the problem, and they should find another way of transportation to come here to go to their classes. Now, you say ride a bike and walk. Yeah, right now the weather is decent, but what happens when it's winter and there's snow on the ground? You're telling me you're going to have kids walking to school in 20-degree weather? That doesn't sound like a reasonable thing at all. That's pretty ridiculous of a statement to say, if I'm going to be honest. And also, this is a problem that you created. So why is it the student's responsibility to fix a problem that you are responsible for? Doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. And, I think just a lot of people, a lot of students are really fed up with this kind of stuff. And now, Family Weekend is in a couple of weeks now. And you are charging, okay, if mom and dad, if you're listening, they're charging you $50. And if you have more than 5 people, it's going to be $100 to attend all the events at Family Weekend. And this does not include the hockey game, by the way. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so
that's an additional. Adult tickets are like $15 this year.
Right.
Obviously, students get in free.
Yeah.
But still, that's more money for the parents.
Okay, so mom and dad, if you guys are listening, let's find a different weekend for you guys to come visit. All right, I'm just gonna say that right now because that is ridiculous. Okay. At the end of the day, it just seems like all this stuff, and we can go on and on about it, but I don't want to get too off topic because I want to get into some sports. But I think we're at like a breaking point right now with, what's going on here, and it's not good. It's not good. If you really care about your students, and you care about what they think and what they think is best for the school, then take time to listen. Because it's not a good look. Not a good look right now. And you know what? We're not the only school. We're definitely not. It's all over the place. So I think at the end of the day, put your money where your mouth is and listen to the students. Because the stuff that's going on is disgraceful. And at the end of the day, money is what they care about. And that goes for a lot of different things. A lot of different things. And it's really disgusting. It really is. But, I don't want to get too off topic. That's really my thoughts with that whole situation. But you can add on to whatever you want, Ben, if you want to go into it, I guess. Your perspective.
Yeah, so obviously this article was anticipated about this university employee. I mean, I know we kind of gave it away in that video, but...
Yeah, I'm trying not to name specific people, but it's, it's already out there.
yeah, I think a lot of people know about it nowadays. Obviously, this is a frustrating scenario with what's been happening, I think, here at the university. And Kenny, I can totally echo you in that. I really do love Quinnipiac. There's a reason why I came here. It was the proximity. It was the location. It was the great mix of student and urban life, I mean, there's a lot of great things about this university that made me come here, and I still love it. I still do, of course. But recently, with all of this stuff that's been going on, specifically with parking here in North Lot, it's a train wreck. I mean, like you said, you have kids parking on the ends of aisles where everybody's supposed to be driving. Not everyone wants to go all the way out over to Hogan Lot or Hilltop Lot, which are far away from the quad. I mean, the North Lot is the closest you can get to the quad.
And let's not forget, another thing that they said was they could utilize the York Hill parking lots, the parking garages. So you're telling me you're going to have students that are commuting here, drive up to another campus here at Quinnipiac, park their cars on a separate campus, only to then be shuttled down by the shuttles here. And that's a whole nother issue, too. Just to go to class. So then what is the point of bringing your car and living off campus then if you have to do that every single day?
Yeah, and on top of that, the shuttle system, yes, that's a problem. But honestly, at this rate, I mean, if you live on York like we do, Kenny, it's probably faster to take the shuttle down than to park.
Yeah, that's why.
If you really think about it.
No, it is. It is.
And that speaks numbers because this shuttle system here can just be so streaky. I witnessed it firsthand last week.
Yep.
That's why I ended up here
a lot earlier
at 7:05.
Yep. You're better off doing that. You know, going a lot earlier, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
It's just... It's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what can be done. I mean, you know, the only thing I would say is, you know, students, make your voices heard. That's really all I could say, you know, but it's just, it's really disgusting, you know.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of things, you know, that we could document on about what actually could have been done because honestly, at least the way I see it, building a new wellness and rec center wasn't necessarily at the top of the list right now. Now, sure, I personally think it could use a facelift, yes, but there's higher things on the food chain that have to get looked at first. And I mean, I think the first one, of course, and I know that the university has been trying to work on this a little bit, but it hasn't made much progression. And it's getting air conditioning in all dorms. I can tell you, between being in Commons freshman year and especially up in Crescent junior year, there's just, depending on which part of the building that you're in, I mean, there's just no air ventilation. I mean, you can open your windows all you want. I mean, heck, we had them wide open in the winter. That's how hot the rooms got.
Yeah.
It's bad. That should have been something prioritized. And that's another
so
thing, too.
they cut off our internet.
Yeah, so they're probably
cut off our internet.
Yeah, they're hearing our broadcast and they're like, hey, you know what? Got to cut these kids in.
Yeah, that's it. They're gonna come in. They're gonna be like, all right, enough with the broadcast. That's it.
So I know nobody can obviously see this, but you know we have the Yankees and the Mets both on because you know we're in the midst of September.
Oh
baseball.
wait, you were on the stream service for the Yankee game, right?
That's another.
Yeah,
thing.
Then that explains it because it's a streaming service. So another minor thing. So
yeah,
Xfinity was great, and then they decided
I have it at my house. I can personally vouch for it too. Yeah. It's amazing.
So
it really is.
You get rid of Xfinity and you get this new streaming service called Stream Me,
which I've never heard of in my life.
And it's and you shouldn't have because it's terrible. It's terrible. It's always buffering. Not all the channels work. And on top of that, listen, I love to watch live TV, and I've been able to watch, you know, live TV the past couple of years because, you know, I hooked up the cable wire to the thing, whatever you want to call it, TV terms. And now that doesn't even work.
Yeah, the cable doesn't even
because
work.
I guess they figure, well, you could just stream everything. No, I want to watch live TV. I don't want enough of this streaming stuff. Okay? It's ridiculous.
It's over the top, yeah.
You know.
It's a problem.
Oh, okay. Another bad play by Glaber. Nice. Yeah, did you want to add anything else to that?
Yes, I was finishing my thought before I saw that, you know, everything started
But
buffering.
just another thing to add to the list.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So obviously air conditioning is a concern I think that, you know, some students have. And I'm sorry, here's another thing. This is also in the Chronicle, which, by the way, if you want to read that article about that faculty member, go pick up your copy. It's all around campus, online. You can get it anywhere. But what actually got on the front page this week was a story about, you know, the shuttle not going to New Haven. I don't understand what's going on with that because pre-COVID, okay, we had the usuals that run around campus, the green, orange, blue, yellow, like there still is. You had the purple one that goes to North Haven. But what about the red one, I think it was, the red one that goes to New Haven? Why is that not back up and running yet? You got to think about this.
My only thing is like COVID related.
I guess. But in some ways, I mean, students have been upset about that. Mm-hmm. And I'm very surprised that it hasn't been, further addressed because,
right.
I mean, New Haven's a great place, like for, to go do some stuff. Obviously, don't end up in the wrong section of New Haven. Of course, it is a city after all. But there's a lot of things to do there, especially, of course, there's always great nightlife, great restaurants and bars everywhere.
Toads.
Yeah, and Toads included down there. That's right.
Might be taking a trip there this weekend.
That's right.
One more time, that magical place.
But yeah, outside of that, I'm just personally a little bit surprised that that's not back up and running yet. And then just one more thing to wrap this up. Specifically about that, that specific faculty member that's being called out right now. Obviously it speaks numbers, I think, when the person who I actually know pretty well, who wrote this article for our student-run newspaper, he received dozens upon dozens of emails regarding this person. And I think that really speaks volumes about what's going on here. Now, of course, we don't necessarily know if this, specific faculty member is doing anything, legally wrong. But whatever's going on right now around here is just simply not in the best interest of our student body. That's exactly what's happening here, and that's why we had to address this in the early portion of our show tonight, because it's definitely a problem right now. Parking spots are being taken away. The food service has not changed at all. I mean, great. We can get our do-it-yourself stuff again. Like, I know the salad bar is back up and running at York. Like, you can actually do all that yourself, which is great. Like, there are some pros, but overall, I think the food selections haven't really changed. The shuttles, like I said, they continue to be streaky. I mean, you could wait 5 minutes or you could wait 25. It just depends on what time you catch them at. And then, I mean, really, those are the major concerns right now. Other than that, I mean, let's just hope that, something can be, changed for the better of us. And I'll also say, too, that if I were somebody living in Commons this year, I certainly would not necessarily feel comfortable with this faculty member, too, living on campus. That definitely rubs me the wrong way in some ways. It just seems odd. I understand.
I'd probably take a towel and sleep underneath the bridge.
Might be a better option, huh? Yeah. Look, Kenny, that's really all there is to say. There's just some things going on around here that have to be, brought to light and questioned. And we'll see where this goes from here. But Quinnipiac, listen up.
Yeah, or they could tune us out.
Yeah, they definitely shut off the radio right after we said that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just wanted to get that off our chest because it's something that bothers us both.
The elephant in the room, yes.
We also do care about the student body here, and we want what's best for everyone. But, yeah, so that was a little longer than expected. That was 20 minutes, so hopefully that was worth it. So let's get into even more depressing stuff. Let's talk about our football team. That lost to the football team.
No.
Of Washington.
No.
So last Thursday, the kickoff of Week 2, the New York Giants took on the Washington football team at FedEx Field?
Yes. Still FedEx, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why we were talking about it yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever. But yeah, And I was very confident going into this game. I basically guaranteed that the Giants were going to win. And because of that, well, the reason for that was because this team has won 5 of its last 6 meetings with Washington going into this game. Now, along with that, Daniel Jones, 4-0 against Washington going into this game. But at the same time, has not won a primetime game. I forget he was 0-7, I think, in primetime games, or 0-5, something.
He's 0-6.
Well, now he's 0-6.
Yeah, yes, now.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, so spoiler alert if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so he's 0-5 going into this game. So one of these things was going to change. He was either going to win or he was going to lose, and his record against Washington would be ruined, or his record on primetime games would be saved. Or they would have tied, but that didn't happen. So overall, Daniel Jones was not the reason the Giants lost this game. Okay, the Giants did lose this game 30-29 to Washington. Daniel Jones did not lose this game for the Giants.
Okay, so I was correct that he is 0-6 in primetime. And the Giants have 2 more primetime games, of course, this year against the Bucs and the Chiefs, okay? And no quarterback since 1950 has started their career with 7 straight losses in primetime.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Well, guess what? That's going to happen. So,
it is.
But as I was saying, so the Giants did not lose this game because of Daniel Jones. The Giants lost this game because of penalties and because of their defense. What happened to this defense? I don't understand. This defense was supposed to be the strength of the team, especially their secondary, and they got picked apart by Taylor Heineke, who was making his first career NFL start in the regular season. He did make that start against Tampa in the postseason last year, was pretty good in that game.
Right.
Then came in relief for Fitzpatrick last week, or week 1 against the Chargers, and he played okay. They made Taylor Heineke look like Tom Brady out there. It was terrible. And this is a team that's missing Curtis Samuel, who they brought in free agency to be their number 2 wide receiver. He didn't play in this game. Terry McLaurin did whatever he wanted. James Bradbury had an awful game, other than the pick at the end. I mean, this defense was terrible. And the Giants, they went up 26-20 at one point in the game. And they let Washington go down the field in 2 plays and go ahead 27-26. 2 plays.
Yeah, and no less.
2 plays.
The touchdown pass was to Ricky Seals-Jones, who was a 3rd-string wide receiver on the Cardinals previously.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how many touchdown catches that guy has in his career. Not many.
Not that many. And let's not forget. Okay. So Daniel Jones could have had a 45-yard touchdown run. Or whatever it was. I think it was 45. It gets called back for a holding on C.J. Board, which was a very questionable call. They probably should have let it go. That should have been a touchdown. And then Daniel Jones threw this absolute beautiful pass to Darius Slayton. First there was the beautiful pass for the touchdown to Slayton. Then Slayton could have had another touchdown. Daniel Jones under pressure. Lets it go. Beautiful throw. You could say, it was underthrown, it was overthrown, whatever. Darius Slayton is wide open.
I mean, there's nobody within 15 yards.
Wide open.
15 yards of separation. Yeah.
And he drops it. And at that point, you knew the Giants were losing the game because this feeling is all too familiar with this team. All too familiar. And I mean, at this point, you're like, are you even surprised anymore with what this team does? How this team loses games? They find new ways to lose games. Well, I didn't even get to the point where... Let's get to the ending now. So, first thing that happens is... So, Washington goes up 27-26. Giants, they have to punt. Washington has it in their own territory. And then Heineke throws an interception. and you thought, wow, the Giants could run out the clock and win the game.
And quick note, too, about that interception. That was good to see James Bradbury do something after
that's what I'm saying.
Pretty bad night for him.
Yeah, and it was more so just a bad throw by Heineke.
Oh, it was.
As opposed to,
It was.
So Bradbury got lucky with that pick. So then what the Giants do is they run on first down, they run on second down, they run on third down, they get Washington down to one timeout, and they kick the field goal and go up 29-27 with like a minute 40, minute 30, minute 20, something like that. So there was plenty of time for Washington to go down the field and get in the field goal range. Now, after that, Washington gets into field goal range from 48 yards.
Correct.
And Dustin Hopkins misses the field goal. And at that point, we're watching it at our friend's house. Everyone that was a Giant fan, including myself and Ben,
we were going
and
nuts.
our other friend, went crazy that he missed it, that he missed the field goal. Went absolute crazy. It was so relieving, so happy about that. And then what happens? Flag. And Dexter Lawrence was offsides. Now, apparently the officials messed that up and he wasn't offsides. Because when you watch the video, he moves immediately when the ball moves at the snap. Now, I'm not going to make any excuses for that. It still shouldn't have happened. And also, you're right there in front of the ball. So, offsides, 5-yard penalty. Washington gets a re-kick. They kick the field goal. Washington wins the game 30-29. And again, I mean, all too familiar. They just heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss with this team. It's unbelievable the new ways that they find to lose games.
Giants are horrible in late game situations.
It's terrible. It's happened forever. Now, what I want to get back to is when they kicked their field goal, the Giants, to go up 29-27. Now, we'll get into that game in a little bit, but what the Ravens did to beat the Chiefs, they went for it on 4th and 1 in their own territory, and they got a first down to win the game against the Chiefs. That is playing to win the game. What the Giants were doing in that situation by just running it and hoping that they get a first down and have Washington use all 3 of their timeouts left, what they're doing there is they are playing to just not lose the game. And the other thing is, and from listening to, I think it was, I don't know what show it was, you drafted Daniel Jones because you believe he's the guy, right?
And Dave Gettleman's been saying this for years,
exactly,
too, Kenny.
Right?
We have faith in Daniel.
So, and he was the best player for the Giants. Outside of Graham Gano. Graham Gano is the best player on the Giants, honestly.
He was.
Our kicker.
He was.
And I said it last year, too. Graham Gano is the best player on the Giants. He makes every kick.
He had what?
He doesn't miss.
3 field goals and 2 extra points?
So you know what? I think so.
Yep.
You know what? I forgive him for kicking that 63-yarder against the Giants a couple years ago when he was on the Panthers. I forgive you, Graham Gano, because you've been a godsend for this team. Because we went from Josh Brown to Aldrick Rosas. You know, we've had all these kickers, and not that good. We get this guy. This guy's been amazing for them. Amazing. But back to Daniel Jones. He was the best player in that game. Put the ball in his hands, get the first down, and win the game. Stop playing scared, because you're not going to win a lot of games by doing that. Because Saquon Barkley, outside of that big run that he had early on in the game, did absolutely nothing. He did nothing. And that's what he's been doing for his whole Giants career. I'm sorry. Barkley is a good player. But if you look at a lot of his games and you look at his stats, if you go through each run, you will see that he had 1 or 2 big runs during the game, and the rest of the game, he's averaging less than 3 yards per carry. And that's in a lot of his games. And I don't want to bash him, but it's true. And I know he's coming back from an injury. I understand that. The offensive line is just, it's still a disaster. You had Nick Gates, who, you know, usually is playing center. He had to switch over to guard because Shane Lemieux was out. And then Nick Gates ends up snapping his leg in half, basically, and he's out for the rest of the year now. I mean, the offensive line is a disaster. Andrew Thomas is not good. It's not like he hasn't been that good. And the Giants could have got Rashawn Slater from the Chargers, who did a number on Chase Young in week 1. You could have had Tristan Wirfs or Jedrick Wills, right? Jedrick Wills on the Browns, right? Wirfs is on the
Cardinals.
Bucks. No, he's on the Bucks.
Oh, no, he is on the Bucks.
Wirfs is on the Bucks. Okay.
Not Cardinals.
Yeah. You could have had those guys.
That's right. The Cardinals took Isaiah Simmons. Yes.
And one of them is protecting Baker, and one of them is protecting Brady. And Slater's protecting Herbert. And those offensive lines are pretty good. Browns are arguably the best in the league. And the Bucks are top 3, I would say. And they need to be because Brady is a 44-year-old man. But he's playing like he's 24. So my point is the offensive line is still a disaster. The running game, Barkley's not doing anything right now. And maybe he'll get it going against the Falcons, but he's not doing anything. You got to stop with the conservative play calling. Stop. If you really trust Daniel Jones, trust Daniel Jones. Let him make that play. Let them get the first down, and let the Giants have the clock wind down, kick the field goal, win the game, and you're 1-1. But no. Let's put our faith in the defense, which has been awful all game long. And it wasn't good on that drive either, because they let Washington get right into field goal range. And then Dexter Lawrence finished it off with the offsides. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And now they're 0-2. They were 0-2 last year to start the year. They were 0-2 the year before that. They were 0-2 the year before that. They were 2-0 in 2016. And you know what? This team is cursed, okay? Speaking of 2016, this team is cursed. Because ever since the Giants went on that boat trip before they got slaughtered by Green Bay in the wild card round, they have been the worst team in the NFL. They have been the worst team in the NFL. They don't win games. They lose games. Badly. In ways that you wouldn't even think were possible. They would do it.
They haven't even had a winning record since 2017, Kenny. It's bad. It's that bad.
Yeah.
And you're telling me this team won a Super Bowl just 9 years ago? Or 10 now, actually?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I think at this point, the Maras are not good owners. They're not. They're not. Okay, because imagine they didn't win those Super Bowls, what people really would be thinking of the Maras right now.
Oh my gosh.
And they're also like the head honchos and why all the taunting penalties are a thing now. Because, oh my God, somebody celebrated a touchdown. Somebody's, in the face of another player because they made a great play. Speaking of not making great plays, though, Luke Voigt, terrible play at first base, 1-0 Rangers. Yeah. The Maras are not good owners. I'm sorry. Okay? Gettleman is not a good GM. He's not. He's not a good GM. There are so many great players that he could have gotten. All those offensive linemen we just talked about. And he passed on them. Passed on them. And I mean, there's so many players you could go back to. I don't really want to get into it, but there are a lot of players he could have got that, he decided to get his own players. And he got Daniel Jones at, what was it, the 6th overall pick?
Correct.
And apparently, there were teams looking at him. No, there weren't.
The Giants still could have gotten him at 17.
And, we didn't sign Odell to trade him. They traded Odell. It's just Gettleman. Are there some I went through all of his drafts and I said, what players are really good that he got? Now, there are some solid players in there, some good players, I guess, but there is not one single great player that Gettleman has drafted since he's become the GM of the Giants. There is not one great player. I don't even count Barkley. Sorry. And you know what? The number 2 overall pick a couple years ago with Barkley, waste of a pick. Because you thought that you could still win with Eli and that team. and you ended up going 5-11. Or, 5-11. Yeah. You're not competing with anybody. Now, last year they show improvements. The defense is playing good. This team looks like they're going to be a playoff team. They bring in Galladay. They bring in Adoree Jackson. They bring in the number one wide receiver, another corner. They re-sign Leonard Williams, who had a big year for them last year. And this team has been awful the first 2 weeks. The defense has been awful the first 2 weeks. The strength of the team is not the strength of the team. Believe it or not, the offense looks better than the defense, which I thought was going to be the opposite. Sterling Shepard and Daniel Jones. That's been our whole team. It's been our whole team. And where are we getting our other production from? And you got your first-round draft choice, Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver from Florida. This guy hasn't done anything for us. They don't put him out on the field. What is the point of drafting a guy in the first round if you're not going to play him? Where is he? Not on the field. It's bad. It's really bad. I thought this team was going to be at least 1-1 to start the year. They're now 0-2 again, and they're playing the Falcons. And I think they will win that game. But if you don't win that, I mean, you could say goodbye to the season. Because then you got that brutal stretch of games in there. The Giants have a brutal schedule. I mean, you just mentioned it with the primetime games. You play Brady and you play Mahomes.
Yeah, have fun with
at their ballparks.
Have fun.
Have fun with that.
And
good luck. I wish you nothing but the best.
I'm sorry, whose idea was it to put not one but both of those games on Monday night?
Because they want to embarrass us. They want to embarrass us. That's what they want to do. It's pathetic.
It is.
It's a joke. And listen, I love Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge should be our coach of the future. But at some point, if you're not winning games, you could say, you could talk about the fans being upset and all that in your press conference. But at some point, if you don't give us results, you're going to be gone too. Because last year, we saw tons of improvement at a 6-10 season. We thought defense is going to be good. Daniel Jones will be better because now you're in the second season with that new playbook. Barkley's coming back. You got Kenny Galladay. You got all these weapons now. You get that number 2 corner. And we start the year 0-2. I picked this team to win the division. What an idiot I look like right now. I said the Giants are the best team in the division because I don't trust Fitzpatrick, and now he's not there. And honestly, I was more scared of Heineke going into that game than I would have been if Fitzpatrick started. And look at that. We lost. And who started? Taylor Heineke. The Cowboys' defense, don't trust them, though they did play very well against the Chargers the other day. But you know what? The Chargers love to choke games. And I don't know if we'll get into that game, but if we do, the Chargers love to choke games away.
I was just about to say quickly, since we're on that topic about the rest of the East. I mean, the Cowboys really could be 0-2 right now.
They should be 0-2.
They should be. They really should.
And the Chargers, they had some bad penalties, and Herbert threw 2 bad interceptions.
And I think we also got a better look at what we expect the Eagles to be like this season against the 49ers.
Yeah.
And now, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts isn't a good quarterback. From what I've seen,
no, he's been playing
out of Jalen Hurts. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good with what he has at his disposal.
That's the Eagles franchise now. That's your franchise quarterback right now. It's Jalen Hurts. And
I think
now
so.
they're gonna have to build around him.
I think so. I think so. Right now, every team is tied for first place except for the Giants. The Giants are in last.
That's correct.
I don't see. The thing is, football is like a week-to-week thing. We're like, wow, this team looked really good, and then the next week they'll lay a dud. Like the Cowboys, look, they won the game. They put on a clinic against the Bucs. They were amazing. But look at what the Bucs defenses looked like. Outside of those 2 pick sixes for the Bucs against the Falcons, their defense has been very
lackluster, to say the least. Yeah,
haven't really put that much pressure on quarterbacks. I mean, they did get to Matt Ryan a couple times, I think, but the secondary for the Bucs has not been that good this year. So you got that. So I think if the Bucs secondary continues to play this bad, kind of saying, oh, maybe the Cowboys, they just went up against a bad secondary. But I'm not going to take credit away from them because they did play well. They executed. And then you go up against the Chargers defense, which I think secondary is better than the Bucs because you got Derwin James back. Asante Samuel Jr. had his first career interception. Their secondary is a little better. So, because of that, secondary being better, Dak's numbers, 237 passing yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Complete opposite of what he did against the Bucs. So, you know what? The jury is still out on the Cowboys. Still out on the Cowboys. But again, like I said, it's a week-to-week thing with football. And then the Eagles, they looked impressive against the Falcons, but then you go up against a tough 49ers team, and you lost a close game. Now, Eagles' defense, I would say, over the course of the first 2 games, has been pretty good. And if that's the case, that's going to keep them in games, and Jalen Hurts, using his legs and using his arm, they could definitely win games. I mean, that's what makes him dynamic is, using his legs. And obviously, the passing numbers in the game against the 49ers really don't show up on the stat sheet. But he had 2 rushing touchdowns, I believe. Or actually, no. I think he did have a rushing touchdown.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, yeah, the passing numbers don't really jump out at you, but he's a playmaker. And I don't think he's a guy that should be benched for Joe Flacco or Gardner Minshew right now. Give him a chance. And if it wasn't for all that outside noise of, he could be benched in the middle of the season, all that stuff because the Eagles are going to be horrible, I would have drafted him, and I could have had Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts as my QB1 and my QB2 in my 2 QB league for fantasy. But now I have Lamar Jackson and the statue that is Matt Ryan. But I do also have Taylor Heineke. But, yeah, you look at the NFC East, I mean, I don't know who's going to win the division. I have no idea. Right at this moment, I don't think it's going to be the Giants because they are the same team. That loss tells me everything I need to know about the Giants. They are the same team.
Yeah, nothing really has changed, Kenny. That's really right on. What is there to really say about this team other than that? Frustrating. I mean, for years, this team has blown close games. They've been horrific in late game scenarios. And there's so many games out there that you look back at, most recently these primetime games, blowing it against the Eagles when Evan Ingram, that ball was overthrown a little bit off his hands. And then you have Darius Slayton who dropped that wide open touchdown pass. Nobody was in 15 to 20 yards of him, as I mentioned earlier. The list goes on and on. Let's see. Of course, you have that's going way back. But, the miracle at the Meadowlands. Good Lord, remember that game?
I do remember that game because I was helping my dad out with Christmas decorations, and my mom was cursing inside.
Yeah.
Watching that game.
Yeah, 31-10, 8-17. Yikes. But, yeah, you know what? That's a good point you bring up about the Maras because they've been around for a long time, of course. And the only reason they've been around this long is because of those 2 Super Bowls. Really. I mean, it is. They'd be under even more pressure right now. I'm telling you one thing, though. Dave Gettleman better be gone at the end of the season.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. I'm done with him. I remember seeing an Instagram comment on something, and it was a Carolina Panthers fan warning Giant fans. He said he's going to get rid of all your best players. And I'm pretty sure he mentioned Landon Collins and Odell Beckham Jr. in that comment. And both of those guys are gone.
Happened.
They're both gone.
Happened. Collins is with Washington. Odell's with Cleveland. Yeah. Look at that.
I mean, Landon Collins, too, I don't really care anymore. He's not as good as he was with the Giants. I mean, did you even hear Landon Collins' name once?
What, during that game?
Yeah, during that game.
I think he made like a tackle or something.
But outside of that, nothing.
No, nothing. No,
Odell hasn't even played yet this year.
Right, and now Jarvis Landry's out for 3 weeks in Cleveland, so that's a whole new thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Odell was a head case, but you know what?
But
you can still use him.
I'll say this too.
Or not.
I'll say this too about Gettleman. I mean, I I actually disagree with you a little bit in some aspects. I don't know if Barkley was a huge waste, but he's not living up to what he was supposed to be.
I know, but like we drafted him to be contenders, and we ended up going 5-11.
Yeah,
and then the year after that, we drafted Eli's successor rather than let's try to reload again to try to make this team better. Instead, they're drafting for the future while still having Eli on the team.
And I'm pretty sure that you, I, and just about everyone else, whoever's a Giants fan, thought they were going to go the defensive route that year. You know, not pick Jones first right off the bat. That was very odd, to say the least.
Well, I saw your infamous video. Could have had Josh Allen, the pass rusher.
Oh, yeah. I thought for sure that that's who Dave Gettleman was eyeing.
No.
And then, of course, like you said, I liked Slater. I liked Wirfs. And then Gettleman decided on Andrew Thomas, who's also been kind of subpar.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been the greatest.
No.
He's been okay. And, I mean, obviously he had to go up against Chase Young. You know, it's always tough to go up against Chase Young. He got steamrolled by him.
Yeah. But you know what? That Washington pass rush has not really gotten off to the best start.
No, it hasn't.
And now they go up against Buffalo this week. That's going to be a tough game. So they better unleash that pass rush against the one-dimensional Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, who still and will not have a run game anytime soon.
No. Well, Devin Singletary did have that 46-yard touchdown run.
Yes, that's true.
But outside of that, really didn't do anything on the ground, so they're still one-dimensional in my eyes.
But, plain and simple, this is the Giants' season staring them down this weekend. I mean, I was already saying the season was over, but it's really over if the Giants lose to the Falcons this weekend. Absolutely. With this schedule that they have, yeah. Have fun playing the Rams, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Raiders. The Panthers are on their schedule too, right? Oh, yeah, the NFC South.
What, the Giants?
Yes,
yeah.
The Panthers. I mean, look at the Panthers. They've looked pretty good through the first
their defense has been pretty good.
Yeah, it actually has.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a brutal schedule. The Giants are going to be lucky at this point to even go 6-11. They might not even go that. I don't know. It's really tough.
Yeah.
All I can say is, wherever this team ends up, 8-9 or 5-12. Excuse me, it can't be 5-11 now. That's right. Mm-hmm. Whether it's 8-9, 5-12, I don't care where they are. Dave Gettleman's got to be gone at the end of this year. I don't care. I really don't, because this guy has definitely not helped out this team. And we have faith in Daniel. All right, it's been saying that it's like a robot. You know?
So then put the ball in his hands.
It's a pre-programmed message. Yeah.
Put the ball in his hands to win the game against Washington.
Yeah, and I will also say quickly, I like this. Okay, Daniel Jones stepped up again against Washington, who he's now 4-1 against for the wrong reasons for being 4-1 now. But this guy went out there and did enough for the Giants to win that game. He did his part. That was not the Giants' problem.
Yeah.
On Thursday night. Okay, and hopefully he carries this over into these next games. Obviously, you got Atlanta this weekend, and then they got to head to New Orleans. Atlanta, though, against that defense, I mean, honestly, I really can't see a reason why the Giants won't be able to put up at least 24, 27 points this weekend. I'd really hope so.
I think they will. Atlanta's defense has been awful.
It's like really bad. It's a big problem. So I said we give Daniel Jones until week 4, okay? He checks the box off against Washington. Did not look good against Denver, but he looked pretty good against Washington. I'll give him that. And what were we talking about during the game, Kenny? He's got one of the better deep balls in the league, okay? The only thing that he has to keep working on is his short to mid-range passes. That's exactly what his thing is. Anything in the 10 to 20-yard range, for some odd reason, has been tougher for him. So, he's got to keep working on that. But this is a step in the right direction. He's got to keep it up against Atlanta this weekend. And like I said, this is the season this weekend. So if the Giants are somehow lay an egg and drop this game, forget about it. I mean, things already look kind of bleak with their schedule, but you never know, I guess. So it just in one word to put it, really, really tough loss against Washington. Lawrence doesn't jump off sides. They're a 500 ball club right now.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even talk for 20 minutes.
That was bad. I mean, like I said, just think about all the
You look
losses.
like someone stepped on your ice cream.
I mean, just think about all the
Knocked your
losses.
ice cream out of your hand.
You know what
Stepped all over-
You know what game I'm forgetting? I'm forgetting. What was it? It was Andy Dalton to Michael Gallup, right? Was that last year?
That was last year, yeah.
I'm forgetting that game too. So there's yet another example of a Giants close game, blowing that. Yeah, it's terrible.
we could go through
It's terrible. Oh, there's
every
way
game
more.
from the last 5 years, and there is a good 10, 15 heartbreakers
Oh no, absolutely.
within that. Especially if you go back to the 2015 season, because there was heartbreakers galore that season with the amount of losses that they sustained.
Yeah, that was also the year that the Patriots beat them, I think, at MetLife.
Yeah, and I was at that game.
2015.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Saints game 52-49. That was 2014.
No,
right?
that was 2015.
Oh, that was 2015.
Yes, that was
Yeah, that
2015.
game too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
They let the Cowboys go right down the field in week 1. Romo to Jason Witten for the game-winning touchdown. They blew a 10-point lead against the Falcons.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go on and on. They blew a lead against the Jets. I mean, you could go on and on with the amount of games that they blew that year.
Bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, it's painful.
They played against the undefeated Carolina Panthers. They were losing 35-7. They came back, and then the Panthers kicked the game-winning field goal. And I think Graham Gano kicked the game-winning field goal in that
he
game.
did.
And that was the game where Josh Norman and Beckham were going at it. And
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do remember that now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see some of these memories. These bad.
Yeah, not good.
These bad memories.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, no, but I'll comment quickly. I hit a breaking point last Thursday. I think that was the longest stretch that I've ever that I've never said a word. I mean, I was quiet for a good half an hour. I mean, I was just scrolling on Twitter, reading everything. I threw together a massive edit, which, by the way, it's up on my Instagram. Plug right there.
Well, what is your Instagram, though?
That's right. It is. It's Ben_Upson. You're right. That would also probably help if I gave it to the followers out there. Ben_Upson. Go
There
take
you
a
go.
peek at it. It's
There you go.
my last post. But yeah, Kenny, that I don't think I've ever been quiet for so long after a game. I mean,
No, I
you
felt
should
bad.
have seen me.
What
It's
do you- I
like
was standing
got-
right next to you.
No, I know, but I'm telling the audience that you should have seen me. It was like I got hit by a train, and then a bus just came along and hit me next. I mean, that's literally what it felt like.
Yeah.
It was like, what the heck, man? And you, Miller, and I were just going crazy when Hopkins
I know.
missed that kick. And it's like, oh my gosh, a win! And it's like that's how we celebrate. And then, of course, an offside. You look up, you see the flag on the scoreboard. It's like, all right, well, there's the FH. So, as we love to
Yep.
say, so bad, man. It's bad.
The thing is, I'd be depressed, but I think at this point, I've just seen it so many times that I'm just used to it. So I don't get upset.
Oh, I know.
I get upset in the moment, and then after that, I'm like, well, that's what happens. Happens every time.
And look, I know we don't give out score predictions, but I do feel optimistic about the Giants this weekend.
All right, now be
you heard it here
careful.
first.
Be careful with the score prediction.
Yeah,
be careful. Make
no.
sure it covers the spread.
Yeah, I've learned from that gaffe that I had about, Giants win 2019 or whatever, but I have Washington covering or whatever it was, like -1.5. I don't know what it was.
You picked the Giants, and you had them winning 20-19. The
Oh,
spread
they were
was-
favorites.
They were
That's
favorites
right.
in the game.
They were
yes.
the favorites.
Yes.
3.5. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
it's coming back to me. Yeah, I know, and I said the Giants would win by 1, yet I
Yeah.
still took the Giants.
And I'm like, what was your reasoning behind that? And you're just like, what can I say?
What can I say, Kenny?
Yeah, no direct answer.
Yeah, no. So you're hearing it here first. It's also going to be on the rundown Sunday. Okay, but Giants are winning this game, 27-19. Okay.
All right, that covers the spread.
You
Are you
heard it-
picking? Are
heard
you
it here
picking the
first.
Giants in the spreads?
Oh yeah,
Okay, all right.
2.5. That's definitely enough
Okay.
of a number to.
Okay, all right,
I think you have to. You really do. So,
all right.
like I said, I feel optimistic. I think the Giants realize that, A, this is an easier opponent, and B, your season is literally on the line. I think they all realize that.
Yeah, and it's week 3, and the season's on the line.
I'm telling you one other thing, too. The conservative play calling, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's actually ridiculous. Like, Jason Garrett loves to do end-arounds.
They don't play to win.
End-arounds and checkdowns are the common theme that we've seen so far.
They
out
don't
of
play to
Garrett.
win.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They simply don't. And I mean, I don't know really much about Joe Judge, like what's going on with him too. I mean, it's Garrett who's obviously behind.
Well, I mean, you got to
calling.
think about it. You know, Joe Judge, when he came here, he was talking about, you know, we're going to be a disciplined football team. We're going to be a team that reflects the city of New York, even though you play in New Jersey.
Yeah. How's that
all
going?
This stuff. And you got penalties. Also, the clock management is terrible.
Oh,
and let's not forget, there was that one drive where they got back-to-back false starts.
And one of them was on Andrew Thomas.
Weren't they both on Andrew Thomas?
Oh, it could have been, actually.
Back-to-back false starts. That is inexcusable. And then to top it off, Dexter Lawrence offsides.
Yep.
On the missed field goal. I mean, what are you doing? Your team's not prepared.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
You should know. These players should know this stuff.
Yeah, that discipline's not
Discipline
so
this
well.
team.
And like I said, here are the sad statistics once again, too, okay, about this loss. Jones is 0-6 now in primetime in his career.
Right.
We just said he could be the first quarterback in 71 years to go 0-7 when they played the Chiefs in 6 weeks or 7 weeks.
Can't wait for that game.
Yeah, I know.
Kelsey Hill.
The Giants as a team.
Clyde, baby. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, we'll get into that after the break.
We will. Giants are 1-12 as a whole in their last 13 primetime games as a team, which is atrocious. That's why this team needs to get the heck off primetime. Ridiculous that the NFL still gives them the time of day. Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, everyone's got to have a Thursday or a Monday night.
Can you believe that this team actually was on Sunday night last year?
Yeah, against the Browns.
Okay. And did that even get a run home?
Nope.
Didn't even get a run home.
Nope. There you go.
Okay.
Stay
so, quick thing with the Yankees. So,
Yep.
if
Go
you're
ahead.
not watching, so what happened? So, somebody hit a ground ball. I don't know who it was.
Torres.
Oh, Torres. Urshela pops out. There's guys on second and third, and it's Stanton at third base, so he's not going to be able to tag up and score.
Nope.
So Yankees have runners at second and third now with 2 outs, and it looks like they're probably not going to score. And they're losing 1-0 already to the Rangers, by the way.
Yeah, it's great. And Higashioka's up to the plate.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's an out.
What was I just talking about, though, before that?
The Giants, clock management, discipline,
Discipline.
team, sport,
no.
football, Giants.
Yeah, it was about the Giants, wasn't it? It was about the Giants, wasn't it?
Can't make a field goal.
Chiefs.
Offsides.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you just said something about Clyde, and that jogged my memory.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
Yeah, no. So
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man.
Yeah,
What a running back.
1-12 as a team in their last 13 primetime games. Jones is 0-6 in primetime. It's his first career loss against Washington. It's the team's first loss against Washington since 2018.
Correct.
They won the previous, I think, 6.
5.
Before 5. That's right, 5. Keep going. Go.
Nope.
FH.
Nope. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Kyle Higashioka just got robbed at the track there by
I don't really
DJ
think so.
Peters.
I think that was an easier catch. I think he made it harder than it had to be.
DJ Peters.
Yeah, primetime Giants.
But primetime Giants. And yeah, this is the 5th straight year that the Giants have started 0-2. So how are we feeling, Giants Nation?
Not good. Not good. All right. So with that, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the craziness that happened in the NFL. We'll get into the baseball stuff, playoff pictures, all that stuff, and that'll do it. That'll wrap it up. So before that, I'll throw it over to my co-host for the Sports Minute, and then I'll take us right into break. So, Ben, take it away.
Kenny, thank you as always, my friend. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock, just about. It's Wednesday night, September 22nd. So I guess we'll start here in Major League Baseball action, of course. We're now just 11 days away from the conclusion of the regular season. It's hard to believe how quick this season has gone by, for sure. And around the league, we've just been talking about it. The Yankees strand 2 runners on base. They're down 1-0 to Texas through 2 innings tonight. Nationals 4-1 over the Marlins in the top of the 5th. Orioles and Phillies 2 runners on base. They're down 1-0 to Texas through 2 innings tonight. Nationals 4-1 over the Marlins in the top of the 5th. Orioles and Phillies, no score, mid-third. Red Sox and the Mets, of course, Yankees need some help from Boston and Toronto. Toronto did lose today, 7-1 to Tampa. Boston, meanwhile, up 2-1 in the bottom of the second, and they have a couple runners on. Twins 2-0 over the Cubs, and the Cardinals yet again up 2-0 early over the Brewers. Tyler O'Neill, yet another homer. Man, that guy has been hot for them. 2-run shot as well. Cardinals are looking for their 11th straight win tonight in Milwaukee. Later tonight, Dodgers at the Rockies at 8:40. Then in the 9:40 time slots, Astros at the Angels, Mariners at the A's, and the Braves at the Diamondbacks. Then tonight, 10 o'clock, Giants at the Padres. As I said, Rays beat the Blue Jays 7-1 earlier today. So the Rays are officially into the playoffs now because their magic number was, I believe, at 1. Of course, we had some postponed games today that are getting made up on Monday, the 27th coming up. Pirates at the Reds, White Sox at the Tigers, Royals at the Indians. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but of course the battle for the NL West is on, and the AL wildcard race is crazy between the Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays. So definitely a lot going on as we enter the final week. And also, quick note for Thursday Night Football, it's the Panthers at the Texans to kick off Week 3 tomorrow at 8:20 on NFL Network. And also this weekend, you have the Ryder Cup. Of course, it's been a year later because of COVID-19, but it's going to be great to see the U.S. battle Europe for bragging rights, as always, in one of golf's premier events. It's always a great crowd presence. It's an awesome event this weekend, so check that out, Golf Channel, NBC, and Peacock. And that's really about all you need to know for your Sports Minute. We're ramping up here, too. NHL preseason begins this weekend, and NBA training camps begin next week as well. So there's definitely a lot going on in the world of sports. There's nothing that you're missing out on for sure. We're getting near the sports equinox as well, because in about 3 weeks, we're going to be in the midst of the MLB playoffs. The NBA and the NHL will be underway, and NFL, of course. Anyways, my friends, that is your sports update on Infinite Sports Radio. We'll be back for hour number 2 right after this.
Good step, clean hole for the win. Oh my goodness, he missed it. Unbelievable. And the Cardinals survive. 34-33.
All right. And we are back here on Infinite Sports Radio.
And so is Gus Johnson to the NFL.
Yes. That was very nice to have him back calling NFL games. Yeah, I was panicking because I thought I lost my wallet. And again, it's where it always is. In my backpack. Oh, and it's just every time I know it's in there, but I'm going to check an additional 3, 4, 5 times just to make sure it's in there. It's in there. Okay. All right. So let's move on from that. So yeah, you just heard that call by Gus Johnson. And yeah, you felt like you were watching a college game. Also, he did Madden commentary back in the day. I do remember from Madden 12. He did the commentary for that. And then they went to Nance and Phil Simms, and now they got Brandon Gaughan and Charles Davis, I think. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the Vikings-Cardinals game really quickly, unless you have something to say. What?
I was just going to say really quickly before that, Kyle Schwarber has 2 home runs tonight for the Red Sox.
That's good for 2. That's good for fantasy. Too bad I'm not in my fantasy championship. I was eliminated by my friend Nick Urillo. And Nick, listen, bro. Like, you beat me. Congratulations. Good job. But now, can you beat me in fantasy football is the question. I have to wait and see.
Stay tuned.
I have to wait and see. But Nick, go out there and beat Billy in the championship, because we cannot give that guy satisfaction for anything. Sorry, Billy. But that's just how it has to be. So let's get back into football. Yeah, so the Mets, they can't help us out with anything. But, if the Yankees won more games, maybe we wouldn't have to rely on the Mets. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
that too.
let's get into,
and it's like you said too. I loved that tweet last night. It's literally like it's like needing Washington to lose to the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen. So, you know what, since you played that, let's just get into Arizona and Minnesota, Vikings Cardinals. So that game was fantastic.
One of the thrillers this week.
The 4 o'clock games were insane. They were insane. They were really good.
All around.
All of them. And this one was, you know, arguably the craziest one of the 4 o'clock slate. So the Vikings went up 20-7. Cardinals came back. They went ahead. The game went back and forth for a while. The final score ended up being 34-33. Kirk Cousins had a really good game, 22 of 32, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, he got banged up in this game. He had to leave the game a couple times. He really got banged up in this game. He had 22 carries, 131 yards. He was a monster in this game. KJ Osborne, he had a touchdown in this game, 91 yards receiving. Justin Jefferson had a touchdown, and Thielen had a touchdown as well. But yeah, the Vikings fall to 0-2. That's a tough loss for them. Good thing is they covered the 4.5-point spread in my spread pool. Everybody was riding Arizona, and I was very close to switching it back to Arizona, and I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with Kirk. Kirk's going to do a good job, and he did. Vikings should have won, but of course their kicker still can't make field goals. And Kyler Murray, who right now, I know it's only week 3, but he is an MVP candidate right now. As of right now. I know it's very early, but he is an MVP candidate. 29-36, 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Did have a pick 6 in this game, which was not good. And he had another pick as well. But he was fantastic in the game. You know, they really couldn't get anything going on the ground. You know, James Conner had 26 yards rushing. Chase Edmonds had 46 yards rushing. Kyler Murray had a rushing touchdown in this game. Rondale Moore, the rookie, he had a big touchdown for 77 yards. Had 114 yards in total receiving. Yeah, he had the touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown. And A.J. Green had a touchdown in this game as well. Yankees grounded to another double play. But anyways, Cardinals offense was electric. And I talked about this a couple times on numerous things, on my internship podcast, on podcasts with my friends, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on this show as well. I thought the Vikings defense was going to be pretty good this year. It has not been that good this year. It's been awful. So I've been wrong about the Vikings. They were leaving guys wide open. Rondale Moore was wide open on that touchdown. They were letting Kyler Murray do whatever he wanted. And the Cardinals won the game, and they're 2-0. And their next opponent is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's a win. I think they go 3-0. The Vikings doesn't get any easier. They go up against the Seahawks. However, the last couple of seasons, they've been playing Seattle in Seattle. Now they are playing Seattle in Minnesota, and it is their home opener. So I think that the Vikings will win that game. Now, Seattle is coming off of a loss. So that is going to be tough. Both teams, Minnesota is more desperate than Seattle is right now. I think Minnesota is going to win that game. That's my thoughts on that. But yeah, Vikings defense really hasn't been that good. Cardinals, off to a good start. So let's see what happens. They're in a loaded division, though. So they got to win as many games as they can because it's going to be tough. And the bad thing is I have the Vikings making the playoffs. I picked them to make the playoffs over the Cardinals. And right now, that's not looking so good. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But yeah, it was a great game, though, all around.
Yeah, definitely one of the thrillers of the week. And like you said, Kenny, the 4 o'clock slate was unbelievable. I mean, really, between that game, you had Titans, Seahawks going into overtime. Cowboys, Chargers came down to the wire. Yeah, literally the only bad one was Falcons, Bucks. I mean, really. And we kind of expected that one to be a bit of a blowout. It's actually really funny, too, because since me, along with a ton of other people from, media studies, we had to live tweet the Emmys on Sunday night, and we thought Titans Seahawks was going to run over into it at 8 o'clock. It was kind of funny.
That's right, yeah.
It came close, but it didn't. It ended just in time. But really, what a great 4 o'clock slate. It was good to see that game. I'll tell you what, the Titans were down at the half, 29-4, I think it was.
29-4?
Were they down at half 29-4? Yes, they were.
29-4
or 24-9. Wow. Yeah. Whoops. 29-4. I meant to say 24-9. For some reason, I messed up the 9-4. Sorry. It's been a long day. Yeah, they really got back into this game good because Seattle was definitely dominating throughout the first half for the most part, fooling the Titans. And I give credit to this team too. And let's not forget,
I took the Titans in this game.
The Seahawks open up the fourth quarter when Russ bombed it to Freddie Swain, of all people, for 68 yards. Put him back up by 2 scores. Then you had Derrick Henry, who just took over this game. I mean, he hit 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. The man's ridiculous. Yep. Whoever had to face him in fantasy, rest in peace, because you probably didn't win your matchup. Tell you that. Pretty bad. Pretty bad to face
Unless
that guy.
The rest of their team is trash and Derrick Henry's their only good player.
That is true. That's the only scenario. But this is a good one for the Titans because all of a sudden now you get right back in contention here in the AFC South. And, you're facing the Indianapolis Colts this coming week. A team that was actually being talked about potentially, being up there in the division. And they're off to an 0-2 start. Now, granted, they've had 2 tough NFC West opponents, the Seahawks and the Rams. But I tell you what, those are 2 home losses so that's a quarter of your home slate basically now that, you lose. And you lose both those games. So that's a big problem for them. But a big win for the Titans, who need to get back in the win column desperately after getting trashed by the Cardinals last weekend, to put it nicely. It was more than that. So really got to be impressed with the effort out of this team in the second half because it was a great run. And then let's not forget, like you said, Vikings-Cardinals, shootout all around. I mean, Kyler threw for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins had 3 of his own, only 244 yards, though. Dalvin Cook on the ground had 131 yards as well on 22 carries. You kind of figured it was going to be one of those games because right off the bat, the dime to KJ Osborne that Cousins had, that was in the first minute of the game, no less. 64-yard touchdown. You already had the feeling that was what this game was going to turn into. It started out slow for Arizona, but they ramped it up. And, just like that, Joey Gallo can't catch that. So, no, I'm segueing into something
Yeah, we thought
else.
that was going to be gone.
Yeah, we both did. It's still 1-0 Texas, but that's a 2-out double. Oh, guess who? DJ Peters, who got that deep catch just a short while ago.
Yeah, the Yankees still
off of Gashioka. Yeah, the Yankees still can't score.
Oh, and the Red Sox are up 6-1. Nice.
That's why I said Schwarber has 2 homers tonight. It's unbelievable. Was he at 5 RBIs now? No, 4, because the other one was only a solo shot. So, yeah, 3-run homer and a solo shot. Anyways, yeah, Cardinals got back in it toward the half. Obviously you had the touchdown right before 20-14. And then, that's right, the Rondale Moore, that was right before half as well. So actually, the Cardinals did go into the half. Oh, that's right. And then, Matt Prater's kick. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was funny.
Channeling that inner flashback, from that Broncos game when he was still with them. And, a 62-yarder. How about that? That was something else. It's good to see that he's still got the leg at 37 years old. But what a win for the Cardinals. I was high on them last year, and they didn't live up to that necessarily. What they finished 7-9, or were they 8-8? I can't remember. They were one or the other, I think.
Yeah, it was one or the other.
But besides the point, I'm loving the Cardinals even more this year because I think, the way
I like him too this year.
Kyler Murray has been playing exceptional so far through these opening weeks. Obviously, you have a better running game, I think, with Chase Edmonds.
They were 8-8 last year.
Right. Chase Edmonds is getting better. James Conner, definitely not what he used to be, sure. But Christian Kirk has been involved in this offense pretty heavily over these opening games, so that's good to see him get going. But it's really on Kyler. I mean, this is a special quarterback right here, and You know, it literally looked like Gus Johnson was calling Oklahoma Northwestern in that game. It really did. I mean, you turn on that TV, you'd think it's a college game. It's like, wait, Gus Johnson? Yeah, that's right. He's back. He's like the E team for the NFL on Fox. He's met for, you know, the games when they have a lot, like in 1 week. And Fox had like 8 games this week, so that's why he was with Aqib Talib. And then, Cowboys Chargers. You know, we already had touched on that one a little bit, Kenny, but it was more the Chargers really loving to blow games. They talk about another team that loves to blow late game scenarios, huh? Herbert was great, 31 of 41 with 338 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, 2 picks. Those 2 picks definitely hurt a little bit. But you know what? You got to give credit to the Cowboys' defense in this game, like you said earlier, Kenny, because you know this is a defense that gave up 49 to the Browns last year, 39 to the Falcons. I mean, the list goes on and on for the horrific performances they had last season. And I mean, sure, you know, giving up 31 to the Bucs, that's not as bad as it probably could be, I guess, right? I mean, look at Tom Brady. Like you say, he's throwing like he's 25 out there. But anyways, so yeah, it was a really tight game throughout. The Chargers, interestingly enough, decided to go for 2 on their touchdown in the second quarter or whatever that they scored. Was it in the second quarter? Yeah. So it was a 14-11 game, and
you just missed a terrible play.
Oh no! What did I miss? I had turned my head away. It's 2-0 Texas now.
Honestly, it's better off you looked away.
Yeah, it probably is. Well, we're about to see in a second. Anyways, 14-11 at the half. The first game in NFL history, by the way, that had that score at the halftime.
They're gonna lose this game.
So scoregami. Let's see. So Kluber,
pop up.
Oh, it's a pop up. Yep.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Nope.
Are you kidding me? So LeMahieu just lazily running back for that. I mean, I think he kind of thought that, you know, Gallo was going to come in to help, I guess. But oh my Lord, wow. Well,
they can't finish off sweeps, man. Yeah, they can't.
I mean, whoop-de-doo. You can win all the series in the world, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't sweep a team that's 40 games below 500. Well, I mean, heck, you couldn't sweep a team that was 50. That's now 55 games below 500.
Yeah, this team is bad. It's not a good team. They're not a good team,
dude. It's terrible.
They're not a good team.
And what is a perfect opportunity to gain on Toronto tonight. And what's a perfect opportunity to gain on Toronto? And all of a sudden, well, that comes crashing down. Mm-hmm. Well, so if the Yankees don't come back in this game, the first wild card is totally out of the picture. There's no way they're going to catch up to the Red Sox unless they miraculously swept them this weekend. But that's not happening. There's no way that's going to happen.
They're getting killed this weekend.
I think they will. They're probably going to lose that series. I think they're going to get 1 at least. I'd like to think they could perhaps get 2.
They got Cole pitching, so.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good way to open it. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, obviously, it's all about tonight getting back in it. But, besides the point. We'll get into the Yankees in just a second. But, yeah, Cowboys-Chargers was a good game.
Let's get into the Sunday night game.
I was just about to segue into that one because that was arguably already now replacing Game of the Year from Cowboys-Bucks. Mm-hmm. Chiefs and the Ravens, okay? This Chiefs team, listen to this, okay? They were up
35-24.
Well, yes, but I was going to say they were up ever since the opening of the game because, you know, Tyrann Mathieu had that pick 6
right off the bat.
Yeah, it was right away. The Chiefs were tied or held the lead all the way until the Ravens took the lead at the 3:14 mark in the fourth quarter. So the Chiefs were never trailing up until that point because obviously the Ravens went for 2 to try and
they got it, and then there was a penalty.
Oh, that's right.
And then they had to go for it again, and they didn't get it.
That's what it was. See, that's what happens when you're away and watching the Emmys. Luckily, I was able to catch the final 2 minutes, if that accounts for anything.
Yeah,
I saw bits and pieces.
Well, just like when you caught the final 2 minutes of the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Patriots. You saw the Brady fumble, and then a year later, you guys are filling in for me in the studio for the Super Bowl because I was at home for my Super Bowl party, and you said Brady didn't look so good.
Oh, Kenny, why you got to be so cold like that, man? Oh, sheesh! Wow, he pulled out the big guns tonight, folks.
You set it. You set me up for that. Sorry.
Yeah. So up until then, Chiefs were never trailing, and it's it's nice to see a ground ball for once, and. The Yankees get out of the inning. It's 2-0 Texas. Going to the bottom of the fourth.
Come on, you only have 2 hits?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And one of them, I think,
Give me a break.
I think one of them was Gardner, too. No matter, though, hey, hats off to the Ravens. What a great win, because I thought there was no shot. When they were up
I gave
11.
him no shot.
And it's all, I'm telling you what, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that guy, man, fumbling that ball in a crucial late game situation like that. It's terrible. It's terrible. You can't let that happen. Big problem. And how about John Harbaugh asking Lamar, do you want to go for it? Because I'm sure you saw the video after the fact.
Well, yeah.
Asking him, do you want to go for it on 4th and 1? Lamar said, let's do it. And John's like, all right.
And that's why.
Now, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Your coach is 100% faithful in you. Mm-hmm. He trusts your decisions. Mm-hmm. That's something Joe Judge and Daniel Jones do not have right now. John Harbaugh.
Well, that's what I brought up before when we were talking about the Giants.
John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson have that sense of trust. And that's why he said, you know what, Lamar? Let's get ballsy here and go for it on 4th and 1 when we could easily get stopped. And we're at our own 43, something like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't get that? The Chiefs are getting a field goal likely.
Right.
I mean, with that offense, come on, man. It's literally a Madden team. It's like an all-franchise team. But anyways, Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbling that ball. My gosh. Oh, this is even more of a crazy stat.
Clyde.
Again, I'll reference it again, Kenny. Courtesy of the Pick Six podcast, I heard this stat from CBS Sports.
All right, let's hear it.
Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast. All right. So when the Chiefs lost that game, all right, because now the Raiders and the Broncos of all teams are 2-0 and they're leading the AFC West. This is the first time since 2016 that the Kansas City Chiefs are not in first place in the AFC West. How crazy is that? 5 years they've held that division lead. 5 years.
That was before Mahomes.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, we're going back to the what Chase Daniel days, or no, I'm kidding.
No,
it was Alex Smith. It was Alex Smith.
No,
yes.
no. Chase Daniel was on the team. Chase Daniel was on the team though, but I think that was like 2013.
Oh, that was that long ago. Well, anyways, Alex Smith though was before Mahomes, of course. Yes. That's actually who it was.
Yes,
so.
And then Mahomes got drafted for 2017. Started that final regular season game, and then he was the full-time starter in 2018. And up until now. And the rest is history.
And look, that is a great season-defining win potentially for the Ravens. Now, obviously, it's only week 2, okay?
I agree.
It's only week 2. But we have criticized Lamar and this team so much in the past because they can't do anything in the playoffs. And
they can't play from behind.
Nope, they can't. They can't. But you know what?
They can't beat the Chiefs.
I mean, I think we all had this suspicion, like, when the Ravens were 14-2, they're going to march through the Titans and they're going to keep going, that they might be a potential Super Bowl team. Well, that sure as heck didn't happen.
Nope.
And that was the dawn of the Titans starting to find some success. Remember the Titans, I'll tell you that. If that, if they made a modern day remake, just, redo that game. And that's when, remember the Titans. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That doesn't mean anything. Only do it if they win a Super Bowl again someday, which they might. Anyways, Aaron Judge now strikes out, swinging one away. Love how we're jumping right in between. It's great. But yeah, season defining win, Kenny. And you know what? Who does Baltimore go to play now? The Detroit Lions.
We'll get into that.
Look at that freaking team. I'll tell you. Yuck. But here are my 3 big takeaways though that I want to mention. Then the floor is yours because you literally you got to get a zipper from my mouth because I can't shut up. I really can't.
I know, seriously. All right, put a cork in it.
So here are my 3 big takeaways from week 2. Okay. Number 1, the Las Vegas Raiders are legit this season. Okay. Derek Carr leads the league in passing yards with 817 through the first 2 weeks of the season. And I'm really high on this team. Now, granted, honestly, the Ravens and the Steelers, they've played 2 AFC North teams, and they've looked really good against both of them. Now, of course, week one could have easily gone away with that interception in the end zone against the Ravens, but oh my gosh, unbelievable ending to that one that the Raiders ended up winning. That wide open touchdown to Zay Jones. Yeah, but this week solidifies, I think, that the Raiders can be a contender this year. I don't think they're going to win the AFC West. They would probably have to get in via the wild card, but you never know. They played a great game in their second meeting with the Chiefs. Unfortunately, they lost because they left Mahomes too much time, and their defense was really bad last year. It's definitely better this season. It's not great, but it's better. So that's definitely my number one takeaway. Number two, the Miami Dolphins are in big trouble. Big trouble. If Tua is out long term, I don't know how bad his injury actually is. I haven't looked how much it's going to be, how long he'll be out for. But he's out, this upcoming game against the Raiders, no less. So the Raiders have a path to 3-0 here. Okay, after the Bills just dominated the Dolphins 35-0. Jacoby Brissett is no Tua. That's for darn sure. So that's definitely a big problem between. With the Dolphins. That's what I meant to say. So that's my number two takeaway, okay? And then number three, okay? Based off these first 2 weeks, again, it's early in the season, but this Sunday, we're going to see an NFC Championship preview right here in front of our eyes, okay? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. This is the NFC Championship preview right here. I'm saying it right now. These are the two best teams in the NFC, and for good reason. Granted, the Bucs defense hasn't lived up to what they should be through these first couple of weeks, but they do have a great defense. They've really retained everyone from last season. The Rams look much better under Matthew Stafford. That offense is awesome. Love it. And their defense as well. They have a good pass rush, and it's definitely going to be an interesting sight to see this weekend out in L.A., okay? Because when Tom Brady comes into town, that's when the drama really builds, especially against a quality team like the Rams. So, honestly, you know what, Kenny? Those are my three big takeaways from week two, okay? I mean, what can I say? So, the floor is yours, though, my friend.
That should be your new segment. What can you say?
Yeah.
What haven't you said?
Honestly, you know what? That's a good idea. What can you say? That would be a good name for a segment. I'm writing that down. All right. Floor is yours, my friend.
All right. So I wanted to get back to the Sunday night game because I had some thoughts on it. The Chiefs are a really good team. Okay. They are a really good team. And they're going to be right there at the end, of course, I think. Mm-hmm. I think they're still the best team in the AFC, even with this loss, because of their quarterback. But this team, they like to mess around a lot. They really do. I mean, we've seen it that myself, so many times now. We've seen it in the comeback against the Texans in the playoffs. We saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw it in the AFC Championship game against the Titans a couple years ago. This team, they get off to either a slow start or at times they just they'll take a commanding lead and then they'll just kind of lollygag because they figure, there's not enough time for the other team to come back. They did it last year against the Bucs in the regular season. Bucs almost came back against them. They did it against the Saints. They did it against the Dolphins. There are multiple games where this team would just, mess around. Mahomes would throw an interception. And it would allow the team to get back into the game and almost win the game. And luckily for the Chiefs, they would hold on and win those games. Sunday night was not the case. The Ravens won the game. And let me tell you something. If Lamar Jackson doesn't have those two interceptions, those two horrible interceptions, Ravens win the game easily. Well, not easily, but they don't have to go for it.
Comfortably.
Yeah, they don't have to go for it on fourth down in their own territory. So that Mahomes interception was bad. That was the turning point in the game. On that 3rd down 11, 3rd down 12, that was just a bad interception. At that point, just either take the sack or throw it away. Don't try to make a play. Don't try to do too much. And that was not the case. Also, the Chiefs' defense is horrible. The Chiefs' defense is so bad. The Ravens were really able to do whatever they wanted on the ground against the Chiefs. Devontae Freeman had a big run. Latavius Murray had a touchdown. Tyson Williams would have had a touchdown, but he fumbled it at the goal line. And Devin Duvernay was able to recover the fumble and score the touchdown. And Lamar Jackson ran for over 100 yards and had 2 rushing touchdowns. Give the Ravens credit. They can't play from behind. We said that. Can't beat the Chiefs. And they did both of those things. So give them credit. I think it was more so, and I talked about this on my podcast earlier with my friend today, my friend Dom. We do a podcast. It's on Spotify. It's called the Weekly Sports Show with Dom and Ken. So if you want to listen to that, it's on Spotify. It's on a lot of different platforms as well. I said that. Now I forgot what I was going to say. It was something about the Ravens. I don't even remember now. I just lost it because of that promo now. But it was something with the Ravens. I don't remember what it was now. But, yeah.
Well, you were talking about them winning this game easier if Lamar didn't have those 2 horrible interceptions.
Well, yeah. Okay, wait, that's right. So they were able to beat the Chiefs. They were able to come back from a huge deficit. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So I don't like to say that, like, you know how a lot of people will say, did this team win this game or did this team lose this game? In my opinion, the Chiefs lost this game. They gave the Ravens the game by the interception. And let's not forget, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I'll have a lot more to say on my fantasy football podcast that I do with my friend for our sports league, our sports chat league. And, you know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a man that is on both my friend's dynasty team and his redraft team. And in our dynasty league, well, I played him in this past week. I played him in both leagues, and I won in both leagues. In the dynasty league, I won by 0.3 points in fantasy. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a fumble. And if Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not fumble, he wins that game. But Clyde fumbled. And he has been a big Clyde Edwards-Helaire guy. Thinks he's going to be good. So far, Clyde has gotten off to a rough start. And when the Chiefs were, one of the Chiefs' touchdowns, it was a rushing touchdown. Darrell Williams ran it in. Jared McKinnon got involved in the passing game. At some point, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to be the lead running back for this team if he continues down this path. So, and there's a base hit to left field, rounding third, and heading home is, I don't know who that is, and he is safe. And the Rangers lead 3-0 over the Yankees. Yeah,
still nobody out.
Yeah, this team can't finish sweeps. We'll get into it in a second, but yeah, the Chiefs. What is their strength? To throw the ball. Now we're talking about put the ball in your best player's hand. The Giants didn't do that with Daniel Jones. The Ravens did that with Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs did not do that when it came to Patrick Mahomes. They put the ball on the ground, running it with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has that costly fumble. He fumbles because the Ravens, they go ahead 36-35. And there was plenty of time for Patrick Mahomes and that offense to go right down the field, get into field goal range. Harrison Butker, probably the second best kicker in the NFL, in my opinion, behind Justin Tucker, who is on the Ravens. And instead, you run the ball with Clyde, he fumbles, Chiefs don't get the ball back. They thought they were going to, but then the Ravens said, you know what? No, Mahomes, you are not getting the ball back. Lamar, go win the game, and Lamar won the game. And the Ravens deserved to win the game. I know I said the Chiefs lost this game, but the Ravens deserved to win this game. Lamar played really well outside of the 2 interceptions. Played very well. And you know what? The Ravens, he doesn't have a lot to work with. He has one of the worst receiving cores in the NFL, if not the worst, dealing with plenty of injuries at the running back position. And they were able to hang in and beat the Chiefs. So credit to them. Now they play the Lions. And just to touch upon that game very quickly. So Sunday night game, that's it. Okay. Ravens won the game. Chiefs, they got to get things right. They play against the Chargers at home. That's not going to be easy, I don't think. But I think they'll win the game. They'll bounce back. But they got to straighten out that defense and maybe have somebody else running the football instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Sorry. But now let's get into the Monday night game. So, quick thing. I'm going to make this kind of quick because I do want to get into the Yankees before we close out the show. So, I have been doing the CBS spread pool, a CBS spread pool, for almost 10 years now. Well, pretty much 10 years. Never won a week. Never gotten close. Had a partnership with my dad. My dad and I, we would do the picks together each week. Last year, COVID happens. That pool doesn't happen. I make my own. Everybody's separate. Now we're back. This pool comes back this year, the bigger pool that I've been doing for, all these years now. And I said, let's do it individually, whatnot. So now, going into this game, myself and my co-host have a chance to win a week. Now, he won a week in his other spread pool.
Yes, sir.
All I needed was the Lions to cover the 10.5-point spread. And the final score would have to be over 48. Final score went over 48. But the Lions did not cover. The Lions did not win. I did not win in the spread pool.
Yeah, the Lions were sprawling out on the field like Gio Urshela just
was that close to winning a week. And I didn't win. And I don't think I'll ever get that close again, if I'm going to be honest. Now, the Lions, they played very well in the first half. They were destroying the Packers secondary. Kevin King got burnt on that big play early on that set up the touchdown. Because the Lions scored first. They went right down the field on the opening drive. And the Packers did the same thing as well, I think. Lions defense is not that good. Packers defense was not that good. But then, again, 17-14 at the half. Felt pretty good. Said, you know what? I think this might hit. And then all of a sudden, it started to rain. And the Lions self-destructed. Jared Goff is a quarterback that cannot play in inclement weather. Cannot do it. Can't do it. He's a warm weather quarterback or a dome quarterback. He's not a cold weather quarterback, inclement weather quarterback, like the guy on the other side, Aaron Rodgers. And the Lions ended up self-destructing. Goff had an interception. Really what was the turning point in this game was in the third quarter. The Lions went for it on fourth down. I forget, it was like at their own, no, not their own, but at Green Bay's like 20, 30-some yard line. And they went for it on fourth down. And you got DeAndre Swift open for the check down. And then you throw it to the outside. Incomplete. Packers get the ball. They go down the field and score a touchdown. Then you fumble a snap. Green Bay gets the ball. Scores another touchdown. Then you just flat out can't hold on to the ball. You go to throw it and it slips right out of your hands. Jared Goff, not an inclement weather quarterback. And that is what the turning point in that game was. If the weather stayed the way it was in the first half, this would have been a different game. And also, if he would have just took the easy route and threw it to DeAndre Swift, that's a first down. They could possibly score. But they didn't. And the Packers took advantage. Aaron Rodgers, a fantastic day, 22 of 27, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 4 touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns. Devontae Adams, 121 receiving yards. Robert Tonyan, Big Bob Tonyan, 52 yards receiving and a touchdown. Packers offense looked good against a bad defense. So you know what? I know last week I said Rodgers didn't look like he cared, all this stuff. I think if they would have lost this game, then that definitely would have cemented that he doesn't care. They won this game. They looked good. I know it was against a bad defense, but if they lost this game, then yeah, it would have looked like he doesn't care. But he does care. He does care. After that. But now, Sunday night, you are going to be playing a healthy, outside of the running backs, San Francisco 49ers squad. I don't like their odds in that game. I don't. I think that front four is going to get after it. Now, the secondary for the 49ers is a little suspect. Jason Verrett tore his ACL, their top corner. They're going to be missing him. And like I said, all the running backs are out. The 49ers offense didn't look that good against the Eagles. And the Packers defense, they played a little better in the second half against the Lions. But I still don't trust them. Go out there and win on Sunday. Go beat the 49ers. You beat them last year, but that was because everybody on their team was injured. Everybody. There was no Nick Bosa, no Garoppolo, no Debo, no Ayuk, no Kittle, no D Ford. Nobody. Now you're playing them with all those guys back. Well, Ayuk hasn't really done anything, and that's a little concerning for fantasy, but that's a different story. Oh, another great play by the Yankees. Yep, go to third base. Unbelievable. Yeah, go out there and beat the 49ers then. And then maybe I'll buy in. I probably won't still, even if they did somehow win. But yeah, overall, Packers, good performance. Lions, you let me down. You really let me down. But yeah, we'll see what happens now. 49ers is a big test, and then you play the Steelers. Packers don't have an easy schedule, so they got to keep rolling now, because you were the best team in the NFC last year, record-wise. You will not be the best team in the NFC this year, record-wise, because you got the Bucs and you got the Rams, and guess what? Those teams play each other on Sunday. And like my co-host said, that might be an NFC Championship game preview. And if it is, that means you're not going to be in it. And you play the Rams this year in the regular season. You're lucky you don't play the Bucs again. But if you do, might be in Tampa in the playoffs. So, Packers, good win, but you got to do a lot more to impress me, because you've really hurt me over the last couple of years, and I would like for you to actually make me happy for once, Mr. Rogers, to finally win a Super Bowl again. Be nice, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, clap it up for the Green Bay Packers. They're back, right? No, they're not back. It was the Lions. It was the Lions.
I can tell you who's not back, and that is the Pinstripes, Mr.
Yeah.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Who cares that they beat the first two from the Texas Rangers? All right, you know what? Yeah, let's segue into these pinstripe. Pinstripe pride. All right. Yeah. Not really. Okay. Look, this game is already a train wreck tonight. Let's see if somebody drops this fly ball. Oh, thank goodness it's caught. There you go. 2 outs. Great. Yankees are down 3-0. Currently top of the 5th inning to Texas in the final game of their 3-game set. Kenny, I've been saying it since we came back. Heck, I was even looking at it throughout August. The 9-game stretch is here.
Yep.
Here it comes.
Yes, sir.
Here it comes. All right? Here's the Yankee season right on the line. All right?
Yeah, and Kluber did not pitch well tonight.
Nope. 4 1/3, 3 runs, 8 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts on 84 pitches. All right? But here it is, Kenny. It's coming in fast and furious.
I just don't.
Thank goodness.
They got out of the inning.
Thank goodness you got out of that mess.
I don't understand. Are they just allergic to sweeping people? What is the deal here with this team?
I don't even know when the last Yankee sweep was. It might have been the Marlins back in.
No. It was not that. They had that 13-game winning streak.
Oh, yeah, right. What am I saying? That's right. Before we got here. So, yeah, then that means it was the Angels.
No, it was not the Angels.
That was after the A's. Shoot. I forget who they played before the A's.
Well, they swept the Red Sox.
Right. Was that right before the A's?
I think it was, I want to say. Well, they were going to sweep the Twins, and then it got rained out. Well, technically, they did sweep them, because then they had that makeup game last week.
Atlanta.
They won that
That's
game.
who it was. But that's not a big sweep. It was really the Twins. Yeah, the Twins and then the Red Sox, like you said. So, yeah.
And then we split with the A's, and that was the beginning of the end.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Boy, have things changed in a month. The Yankees are not sweeping the Red Sox.
And what happened
this
a month
weekend.
ago? We moved back into school. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Yankees love to torture us when we're in school. Really, they do.
And the school likes to torture us, too.
Yeah, it's true. So it's a nice double whammy on top of that. How about that? But how things have changed in a month. The Yankees are not sweeping the Red Sox this weekend. It's not happening.
No, I mean,
There's
it might
no
be the
way.
other way around. The Red Sox might be sweeping us.
Yep, they're playing.
I'm sorry.
They're playing some of the best baseball right now.
For people that are still optimistic out there, and if you're still listening, listen, I don't care for your
too.
optimism. I don't.
That's me.
Okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up, but at the same time, it's over. It's over. I'm sorry. This team, they have a chance to sweep teams, and they don't do that. No. They never do that. They should have swept the Orioles, but they don't because they don't have a catcher that's good behind the plate. I'm sorry, Gary Sanchez is not a good defensive catcher. Actually, I really shouldn't be sorry. Everybody knows that. But the Yankees still trust him behind the plate. Why is he not in the lineup tonight? Why? Why is Higashioka in the lineup tonight? Cole is not pitching. Why is Rizzo not in the lineup tonight? It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. I listen. They're playing, like you said, the Red Sox this weekend, the Blue Jays, and then the Rays.
Yeah, have fun.
It wouldn't surprise me if they lost all 9 games. That's not going to happen. I guarantee that will not happen. They will probably go.
I think they're going to go 4-5 or 3-6.
I was just about to say that 4-5, and you're going to be on the outside looking in. Sorry, bye Boone, goodbye. And again, it doesn't matter if he gets fired because they're going to bring in the same kind of guy. That's a yes man. And can you pitch Andrew Heaney tonight? You got it, boss. I got you.
All right.
He's coming in.
All right. You want to hear this, Kenny? So here's what's...
Do I want to hear this? I don't know. I don't know if I want to hear this. I might as well just walk out now so I don't have to hear it.
Yeah, we should end the show.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Well, that's coming up, though.
Not yet. Not quite yet.
We're almost there, though.
As Gleyber Torres takes a walk down to first base. Well,
hey, look at that.
I'll tell you one thing. The Yankees won't be walking anywhere near the playoffs if they don't go above 500.
Oh, wow. Look at you and your
stretch.
puns tonight. It's great.
I'm trying. I guess I'm on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah, we should have like a laugh track for you.
We don't have that, unfortunately. But
we could. You just plug in your laptop. You always play the special effects and stuff during the broadcast. You can have a laugh track.
You're right. You know what? Yeah, it's a good idea for next week, too. Just like the show intro. Maybe that'll get done by November.
Please don't say November.
Why? What's in November?
This is it, man. This is it.
Oh, I know.
It's over.
I was going to say.
Done after this.
I didn't say December for that reason, but I guess November's close enough. Anyways, we're not going to dwell on that right now.
September's almost over, man.
Yeah, I know. That's freaky.
October is the last full month.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that at all.
October is the last full month.
Oh my gosh. Geesh. That's crazy. All right, so what was I going to say? That Kenny, you want to hear this?
It was something.
It's about the Yankees.
They're not going to walk anywhere near the play. Hey,
That's
a base
great.
hit up the middle. There we go. 2 guys on, nobody out.
That's
bottom
great.
of the 5th.
Well, I guess I'm on a roll, and I guess the Yankees
something smells like it's going to be a double play.
Well, I guess I'm on a roll tonight, and the Yankees are starting to roll. I guess I don't know. Whatever you want to say that. All right, so this is what it's coming down to here, Kenny. Okay, especially. I would like to think the Yankees could find something in this last half of tonight's game. I mean, they are down 3-0. It's not horrific, I guess, but it's definitely sad.
No, but when they get behind, they just roll over and.
Oh yeah, and especially against Texas. All right, it's really sad that this is happening against a team like Texas of all teams. Couldn't sweep the Orioles, and now you're struggling to sweep the Rangers. In back-to-back weeks. That's nice. Look, the Yankees are going to be 3 games out if they lose tonight because the Red Sox are not losing to the Mets. They're up 9-1. They've already won the game just about. Unless the Mets were able to pull off one of the greatest comebacks in franchise history, which is not going to happen because they're out of the playoffs and they don't necessarily care. Red Sox have 2-4-3 on their stat line tonight. Ouch. Where am I going with this, though? You may ask. Well, I'm saying that the Yankees can't necessarily worry about the Red Sox as finally they get one into the outfield.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
3-1 game.
Oh, my.
Is it going to be 3-2?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes,
wow.
sir. Kyle Higashioka finally comes through.
All right.
He got one over DJ Peters' head this time. All right.
So I'll take back what I said about him then.
Yeah, I guess you will.
Also, when's the last time Odor played?
I was just thinking the same thing because I saw him out there, and I'm like, what? I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
when is the
myself.
last time he played?
It's been a hot minute.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because LeMahieu, Urshela, Torres, they're all back. So there's no role for him. And also, you got Voit and Rizzo playing first base, so LeMahieu can't slide over to first anymore now that you have those two first basemen, even though Voit is a stiff at first base.
Anyways.
Also, they turned off like all the
I just saw
lights
that.
outside.
Anyways, at least
what's going on?
At least that just
We're
happened.
getting locked in here.
At least that just happened while
we might
were...
end up doing a 10-hour show.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, at least that happened while we were still on the air. You never know. Something might happen in the last couple minutes. But where am I going with this? Yeah, so the Yankees' focus should be, of course, on every game. But what it's really it's going to come down to Toronto. Okay, that's the team you're really chasing because, especially if you lose the series to the Red Sox, even if you lose 2 out of 3, you're not going to catch Boston for the first wild card. They're playing some of their best baseball right now. Even Xander Bogaerts said it.
Well, they got everybody back from COVID because they had that COVID outbreak.
Yep, that's true. Sale's back. Yeah, everybody's back now.
Yep.
So
just in time to play the Yankees.
That team is hot.
Woo!
That team is hot. So we're going into that game. So, but yeah. Anyways, you got to focus on Toronto because that's the team you're going to be chasing. Second wild card spot, and that's really who you're going to end up chasing. The Yankees are losing ground right now for the home field. And, I mean, so is Toronto. It's just because Boston's playing so well, and they're matching whatever the Yankees in Toronto are doing right now with their easier schedule. So, basically what I'm saying, Kenny, is Toronto is going to be the main piece in the final stretch here. So, but either way, here it is. The 9-game stretch I've been preaching for weeks. It's here. Oh.
Yeah, it's here.
We'll see what happens.
We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll talk about the Red Sox series. Wednesday. Sorry. Still used to us being on Tuesdays for some reason. We'll be back on Wednesday, so we'll be talking about the Yankees' 3-game set with the Red Sox, the beginning of the series with Toronto, the first 2 games.
That'll be the middle game and then, Wednesday night,
Yeah. Wait, are they off on Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
They are off tomorrow, and they're off on Monday.
Okay.
So that does aid them a little bit.
Okay.
And this is the end tonight, by the way, of a 20-game stretch.
Okay.
3 straight weeks without an off day for the Yankees. And it happens tonight. So
okay.
An off day.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. I thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for listening. Make sure to tune in next week. I almost was doing my closing for my podcast internship. But so LeMahieu just hit the ball to the outfield, and the Yankees have not tied the game. He got thrown out at home plate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday. We'll talk about the Yankees and recap the NFL once again. So as always, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder along with Ben Upson signing off from Infinite Sports Radio. Have a good night, and we will see you next time. Take care.